Hare Krishna, all the devotees. So we are starting with the Bhagavad-gītā 13.29. Uh, Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nastyatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. Samam pashyan hi sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nastyatmanatmanam tato yati param gatim. समं पश्यन् हि सर्वत्र समवस्थितमीश्वरं न हि नस्ति आत्मनात्मानं ततो याति परं गतिम्. Any devotee wants to recite and read the translation?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, may I?
Hare Krishna. Yes,
Hare
Mataji,
Krishna.
please.
Samam pashyani sarvatra samavasthitam ishwaram nahi nasti atmanam tato yati param gati.
You are not
Translation
audible,
by
Mataji.
sorry, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Translation also, Prabhuji. Translation also.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada ki jai. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches the transcendental destination. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna. Thank you very much. So we are seeing two verses today, 13.29 and 13.30. So here in this verse, Krishna is describing that how Krishna is describing to Arjuna how one sees the super soul, like how one is equal to everyone. The person who is samam means who is equally present. It is like the person who is seeing the things equally, like one who sees the super soul present in every living being, how he can see and how is the actually seeing and how he can reach the transcendental destination to the Supreme Lord's abode. That is given here. We'll read the translation purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and then we'll discuss more. First, we'll recite the next verse also, 13.30, and then we'll combinedly discuss over these two verses. प्रकृतैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति. प्रकृतैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति. प्रकृतैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वशः यः पश्यति तथात्मानम् अकर्तारं स पश्यति. Anyone wants to recite and read the purport? Sorry, read the translation.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji, please.
Bhagavad-gītā 13.30. Prakritiya cha karmani kriyamānāni sarvashah yah pashyati tathatmanam akartaram sa pashyati. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you very much. So, okay. So we can see how Prabhupada has given here in this verse how Krishna is telling Arjuna about the person who can reach to the transcendental destination and who is seeing uh, equally the super soul within all the living entities, and how it is possible for a person to achieve this transcendental destination in the purport Prabhupada is telling. We'll see that. We'll read the purport. The living entity, by accepting his material existence, has become situated differently than in his spiritual existence. But if one understands that Supreme is situated in his Paramatma manifestation everywhere, that is, if one can see the presence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in every living entity or every living thing, he does not degrade himself by a destructive mentality, and he therefore gradually advances to the spiritual world. So the mind is generally addicted to sense gratifying processes, but when the mind turns to super soul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding. So what Prabhupada is explaining or trying to explain here in the purport, and we can understand this, that uh, we generally think based on our mind, but when we understand or when we do the devotional service, we think that, oh, we will not think by our mind, uh, we will actually control the mind by our intelligence, because when we practice the devotional service, mind goes into the subside and intelligence takes over to the mind, and that should actually work in our day-to-day life also. That is very important, because what happens, like even in Arjuna's case, it was like that Arjuna was saying Krishna that chanchalihi mana krishnam pramadi balabhadridam tasyaham nigraham manne vayoriva sudushkaram. It is very difficult for me, Krishna, that I can control the wind, but it is very difficult to control mind. And uh, this is actually the mind control verse, how Prabhupada has given things, that when we if we want to control our mind, and it is the everyone's problem in Kali Yuga, in the now the 21st century, in this decade, it is a more problematic, like because of mobile, no one is able to control themselves, no one able to control the mind. And due to this, like different waves, they directly hurt the brain waves which are coming, like mobile waves or TV waves. When we see the screen, that time our brain brain gives some waves to understand the thing, but rather than understanding, we just go into that field or go into that matter so much that we forget everything about other things. So that's the problem, and mind keeps doing that same thing again and again. He doesn't mind doesn't understand that we are wasting time. And due to this, there is so much loss. And Arjuna was telling that because he was not able to understand, or he was not able to see the dharmic principles, or he was knowing that, but he was not able to uh, take the decision to fight or not. That's why he was telling, and he was telling Krishna that it is very difficult to control mind. Then Krishna also tells, yes, asamshayam mahabhav. Yes, I know that it is very difficult, but abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha gruyate. So you can, it is, yes, it is very difficult, but you should do it by practice. And what happens, like this mind control or controlling mind, trying to control mind, it is very difficult for materialistic people. But spiritualist, one who is practicing devotional service, he can easily control over the mind only by chanting the Supreme Personalities, uh, chanting the name of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, chanting the holy name, which is given in the scriptures, in the Kalisantran Upanishad also. It is controlling the mind, because it's a Maha Mantra. Maha Mantra means what? Mantra is a Sanskrit word. It tells that mantra means manatrayati iti mantra. Manatrayati means it will control the mind. So Kali Yuga, the best process to control the mind is chant the holy name. So, and that is the process which is given by Srila Prabhupada, and we are fortunate here to uh, participate in the movement, Bhakti movement, and accompany Srila Prabhupada in preaching all over the world. Now it's a book marathon going on in December month. We are distributing this message of Srila Prabhupada to everyone, and we are creating we are trying to create the revolution in the society around us, because this knowledge is the very important knowledge which is given in Bhagavad-gītā. And the one who understand this, in the next words, where we have seen that 30th verse, in a purport, we can see that one who can see that supreme personality of Godhead resides in everyone's heart, that is the actual seer, and not we are the seer. We are just blind people roaming around us. There are many blind people, and we are also, when if we don't consider that we are soul, we are not this body, then we are also blind. So Prabhupada is giving in the next verse, in the next purport, that uh, how one can be actual seer. But and here Prabhupada is giving that mind is generally addicted to sense gratificatory things. Means what? See, we can understand this that it's a like a if we don't try to elevate our consciousness, we will automatically our consciousness will automatically degrade itself. Why it is like this? Because it is like a water always try to flow from higher potential to lower potential, or it is like electricity direct always flows from higher potential to lower potential. So anything, it flows automatically because of gravity or because of any laws, physics law. It always flows from higher potential to lower potential. Like same way, automatically our mind also degrade, our consciousness get degraded from higher consciousness to lower consciousness. And if we want to uh, lift the water from ground level to up level, we need to start the motor pump. We need to give a high energy pump. Or if we want to do the like if we want to say send the current from lower potential to higher potential, we need to give that more battery. So it is like more energy we have to spend to move against the law of nature. So law of nature is always to degrade. But when we practice very intensely the bhakti movement or the devotional service, then we can actually try to control the mind. Means mind always have the principle of like to get addicted to sense gratificated things. But when we practice devotional service, when we condemn the mind's desire, then we can understand and then we can control over the mind by our intelligence. When we understand that yes, mind is not doing a correct thing, we will correct the mind by using our intelligence. And we will understand that yes, we are not this body, we are spirit souls, we are spirit soul. That is the one main thing we learn when we come to the spiritual organization is called. So here the main essence of this shloka is the mind is generally addicted to sense gratificatory process, but when the mind turns to the super soul, one becomes advanced in spiritual understanding. So when we want to advance in spiritual understanding, we should understand that, or we should turn our focus on our soul and the super soul which is residing in our body and everyone's other body. So we will not have the quarrel and hypocrisy with or cheating mentality with anyone else, and we will live in harmony, peace with all the other living beings, and we will have the we will able to reach the transcendental destination, that is Golok Vrindavan. In the next purport, Prabhupada is telling about okay, we'll decide once. प्रकृतैव च कर्माणि क्रियमाणानि सर्वश य पश्यति तथात्मानं अकर्तारं स पश्यति. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. So, what is here given? That all the activities are performed by the body. This body, purport in the purport, what Prabhupada says, let's see. This body is made by material nature under the direction of super soul. And whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not his doing. Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or for distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. The self, however, is outside all these bodily activities. This body is given according to one's past desires. To fulfill desires, one is given the body with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord to fulfill the desires. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. This transcendental vision of living entity, when developed, makes one separate from the bodily activities. One who has such a vision is an actual seer. So what is the thing that see, it's like this is very difficult to understand, but one who understand this, it is above all the uh, like sukha dukha. It's like that. This body is made of material nature. Yes, under the direction of super soul. So super soul means supreme personality of Godhead, and like one who resides in everyone's heart, Shri Rudakshay Vishnu. And whatever activities are going on in respect to one's body are not of his doing. Means Prabhupada is telling here that super soul or the soul doesn't do anything. Body is doing everything. How the body is doing? Whatever one is supposed to do, either for happiness or distress, one is forced to do because of the bodily constitution. It's very important to understand our body is not in our control. Our body is in control of three modes. Three modes of material nature, those are controlling our bodily activities. And based on our past life karma, we are acting in this body. Because this body is given to us based on our past life karma, based on the desires which we had in the past life, and we died with that desires. With that desire, Lord has given this body to fulfill those desires. And one who gets this body with those desires, and one who desires the same thing, turn up into doing the same wrong thing again. So when we come to spiritual organization, when we come to spirituality, when we practice devotional service, then what happens? Our desires get purified. When we chant the holy name, desires get purified. So what is our, or as we are a super soul, we are not, we are a soul, we are not this body, we are soul, we are not super soul. We are, what we are doing then? We are just desiring. We are just desiring, and we are just seeing the drama, how the body is acting over the desires. So our body is separate from us. We are soul residing in this body, and we are just seeing the drama. It's like a seeing the movie. We take the ticket, we pay for it, and we just go to the cinema theater and we just watch the movie. We can't interfere into the movie. We can't do anything. If villain comes, then we can't jump from our seat and kill the villain. It is not possible. So it's like same thing in this body also. When we are in this body, soul, we can't do anything. We just have a power to desire. And that is in our hand. That is a free will given by the Lord Himself, that what to desire. So that free will, when we use in a special way to desire a spiritually, but due to the degradation outside in the Kali Yuga, it is very difficult to desire good thing, desire spiritually. So when we desire spiritual things, automatically the body will act in that way. But what we desire wrong things. We desire lusty things, and that desires when get activated by the body, and the three modes of material nature supports those activities, then the body turns up into doing the wrong thing. So understood how the wrong things are actually done from the body by three modes of nature. So the culprit is not the soul, culprit is the body and the desires what the soul is doing. So when we do our devotional serving, when we practice chanting every day regularly, with a intensely, with a too much intensity, then only the desires will get purified. And with the purified desires, we will desire good things, and the body will turn up into doing good things. Such a person understood. I hope everyone understood here that how our mind works, how our intelligence works, and how uh, body and soul is different, and how soul has the capacity to desire only. Soul can't do anything. Soul can't. Soul is just residing in this body and seeing the drama. What our body is activating, what our body is doing. Soul, but the activities are performed based on the desire of the soul. So it is in our hand. The soul has the choice what to desire. So to desire good things, our desire should be purified by chanting the holy name. And that first desire we should get. And for that, to get that desire of chanting in the morning, we should be in a consciousness. That's why preparation is last day. When we try to chant, when we want to chant in a Brahma Murta, preparation is the last day, all the activities. So how we work in this day, based on that, tomorrow's morning chanting will be depend on the whole day activities of today. So how we practice this? How we desire? Yes, I want to chant the 64 rounds tomorrow, or on the Ekadashi day or some day. If we decide that thing, we prepare our consciousness today only. Yes, tomorrow is Ekadashi day. I'm just giving example. If we want to chant, and how we prepare our consciousness. Tomorrow is Nirzala Ekadashi day. I will not eat. I will fast from anything. No water, no grain, nothing. No sabudana, no varai, sama, nothing, anything, and just focus on chanting. I will chant 192 rounds. So when this desire, we prepare our consciousness. Soul has the desire, then body try to fulfill that desire. So I hope you get the connection how the soul desires and body turns into doing those activity. But the problem is the contamination of this Kali Yuga, the material world, contamination with this material world, and the whenever when we get attacked or when we get into so many allurations of this material world, our soul desires wrongly. The by it is doing mistake, we are doing mistake by desiring wrongly. So to fulfill our desires, one is given the body with which he acts accordingly. Practically speaking, the body is a machine designed by the Supreme Lord. It's just a machine. How you give the program, it will work. So to fulfill the desires, because of desires, one is put into different difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. So Prabhupada used to say that enjoy, and then suffer. Means what? Now, if we desire to enjoy for shorter things, at the end we will have to suffer. Even Tukaram Maharaj says that the happiness is very little. In the sense gratification, happiness is very, 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 very little. It is uh like it is very, very partial, like it's very minute, very, very minute, too minute. And the the suffering is more, the suffering is endless. In the Marathi there are many poets who has written like this, dukha sukha java pade, dukha abala evade, means what? Like very little happiness, and the distress is too much. So this transcendental vision of living being, living entity, when developed, makes one separate from bodily activities. One who has such vision is an actual seer. So when we see that this body is doing everything based on the soul's desire, and the all the activities which are done by the body are the controlled by the three modes of material nature, then one can see that yes, this is not the doer, we are not the doer, he is also not the doer. Doer is someone else. Three modes are doing everything, and then we will not affect also. If someone is affecting us or someone is scolding us, if suppose in a office, if a boss is scolding us because of not doing some activities, we should not do this, we should do our activity. But sometimes happens that we do everything clearly, but still boss scolds us, oh, because it is not happened based on his ideology or something. But still we should understand, yes, it is not by himself, not he's a soul just desiring, body is acting over it. So this is very small analogy which I gave, but I hope you understand about the how soul desires and body acts over those desires. So we should control on our desires by practicing spirituality, practicing devotional service daily, regularly, with a full intensity. Just a few days back on Sunday, His Holiness Radhan Swami Maharaj has given a class, and in one of the his classes also, Maharaj was saying that when we practice intensely, when we practice the devotional service intensely, we will do little progress. So when we want to progress on the spiritual path, we should practice too much intensely, and when we practice intensely we will have little progress. If we don't practice intensely, then there is no progress at all. So normal doing and everything not work. We will have to be very strong and very determined in our sadhana to practice regularly. Yes. So thank you very much, all the devotees. Hare Krishna. Dandavat.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji. Dandavat Pranam to everybody. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
I
Prabhuji.
started
Dandavat.
Thank you,
recording. How to
Prabhuji.
stop the
Dandavat
recording?
pranam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Was it
Dandavat
recorded?
Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Yes,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna to all devotees.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams. Thank you. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna Prabhuji, thank
Hare
you.
Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you.